Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Vespers. I'm so glad that you have taken this time for yourself and for your community and for your heart so that we can share together in contemplation the question of how we are held by our own heart's patience. In honor of that question, I have some chalice lighting words for us this evening. These are written by the poet Rainier Maria Rilke, who says, "Have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything, live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer." And with that, those words, I light our chalice. And I welcome with gratitude our musical offering.
In this service, we invite you to read along with our words and sing along with our songs. We love doing this together when we can do that, but in this format, we just invite you to do it wherever you are. So I invite you to join in our gathering words. Maybe you long for a time you think you remember, when life was simpler and truth seemed easier to find. Perhaps this is not that time yet, and still the new grass is blooming. Maybe you wait for predictable days and nights without the residue of fear. Perhaps that time is not upon us, and still a loving voice waits within your own heart. Maybe your restless heart longs for a time when all questions are resolved, all paths clear. Perhaps that time will come beyond known horizons, and yet you can create its image in your own choices. Maybe your wounded heart yearns for a place of perfect safety. Perhaps this tousled, tangled world has not created that, and still you can pause to savor all its hidden joys. Oh, patience, heart, gather life's gold. And we're grateful for the music of that Joe Gelinas puts together for us and the images that Liam adds to them. And we're going to share a song together now.
Be in the silence, be there now. Breathe in the silence, rest yourself and receive. and receive in the silence. Love comes to you in the silence. Love is all around you. Love here in the silence. Be in the silence, be here now. Breathe in the silence, rest yourself and receive in the silence. Love comes to you in the silence. Love is all around you. Love here in the silence.
I invite you to join in our words of affirmation and offering. Inside the patient heart awaits the still small voice of the divine, which knows the treasures hidden in each passing day. This wise one directs the hands to touch the raindrop, which cools the leaf, directs the eyes to see the rainbow, which comes after storm. Inside the patient heart is the strong one who knows that we are bound in mutuality and community in times of struggle and in times of peace. Inside the patient heart is room for sadness and gladness both, intertwined and embracing. Inside the patient heart is the affirmation that despite loss and mourning, anger and overwhelm, we are held in love and in our own patient, good regard.
Looking for a window, gateway to my soul. Keep me on this journey till I see it all. Looking for a window, gateway to my soul. Keep me on this journey till I see it all. Looking for a window, gateway to my soul. Keep me on this journey till I see it all. Looking for a window, gateway to my soul. Keep me on this journey till I see it all.
So as we gather tonight on this Wednesday night, on a day that's been blissfully somewhat uneventful for many of us, some of us are finding in these days that we are feeling particularly tired or perhaps particularly angry or maybe really sad. And we can't understand why that would be the case when things are kind of moving into a time of normalcy. And that's how we do it as a species. We survive through events of great turmoil by sort of pushing aside those things we can't deal with in the moment. And then sometimes in the times of quiet and calm, they rush in around us. So it's important actually now and in these weeks and months to come, as we pray that things remain relatively calm in the midst of a pandemic still around us. It's important that we take time to center ourselves, to be present to ourselves, and to recognize that we are here together and that we can hold one another in whatever it is that we feel washing over us now in these days. So I invite you to lower your gaze or close your eyes. And I'm going to invite us to just simply take a moment and be aware of where it is we are holding tension and discomfort in our bodies. For what we know is that this is where we often hold the stress of traumatic times. Resma Menachem writes, "Years as a healer and as a trauma therapist have taught me that trauma isn't destiny. The body, not the thinking brain, is where we experience most of our pain, pleasure, and joy, and where we process most of what happens to us. And it is also where we do most of our healing, including our emotional and psychological healing. And it's where we experience our deep sense of resilience and our sense of flow. So if the body is where we process most of what has happened to us, coming out of these days that we have just been in, it's important to be aware of where we are holding tension within ourselves. We talked last week, those of us that gathered here, about how it feels like we've been holding our breath for maybe months, maybe years. So let's just begin by finding our breath if we can, and just allowing ourselves to breathe more calmly into this place. And then to move our shoulders, our neck, whatever we can gently. Perhaps to feel our hands on our legs if we're seated, to stretch out our legs if we're lying down as we gather in this virtual space. But to find whatever it is in our own being that needs to be moved, that needs to be recognized, that needs that release of tension. We do this without worrying too much about the words or the emotions, but just simply allowing our physical self that's been so patient holding all that we have held, so patient waiting for this time when we can release a little bit of our worry, our sorrow, our fear, and our anxiety. So we just allow that patience to be rewarded with whatever gentle movement might feel good to us now. And we will take this physical meditation into our time of silence. It will end with the ringing of the bell. So as we come out of this time of meditation, let us know that we have the patience that we need to wait for the rose to open, the gateway to be revealed, and to return again to home of our heart.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return